How's it going, fam? Welcome back to Erica's EDC, and today we have a whole bunch of updates to do on some new gear that has come in, and we also have some final thoughts on the knives that we were running toward the end of January. Let's do the new stuff first, because those are kind of fun to look at. So this came in yesterday. This is from a new friend of mine who watches the channel. His name is Oliver. Yes, I have permission to give him a little shout out. He wanted to help support the channel, and he asked if we're running a Patreon, which I said we are not. However, I'm always down for people sending in plates that we're going to test on the channel. So this is one of them. This is an ESEE 3HM. And I've been collecting a couple of ESEEs because I'm going to be running a project very soon once I have everything in. And it's going to basically be kind of an experiment of how relevant is toughness. So I'm taking a few of the toughest knives that people talk about very often. I have an Azula from ESEE. I have this little guy here. We have the ESEE 3HM, and we're going to put them up against some of my high-performing knives that have, in my opinion, equally as good toughness, but way better edge retention. We're going to run them all together, do a huge experiment, and I've just been waiting for the final things to come in. I'm just still waiting on that sheath for my Steve Kalari custom knives Steadfast. I've been waiting for that for months, and hopefully it'll get here at some point. I really hope so. But this is one that just came in, so this will be something that gets included in that experiment. This is a knife that I wanted to throw in because the one that we ran last month is very thick, and the Azula is, in my opinion, as well. I also have the, I believe it's pronounced Candiru, something like that. They're all just like really, really thick, and then they also don't have the most room to like thin out behind the edge. I felt like this particular model from ESEE was a little more slicey out of all of their offerings. You still have the classic, typical, kind of thicker blade stock, but because it's full flat ground, it actually thins out a decent amount for an ESEE knife. So we will be testing this as well, just to try to throw a little bit of different geometry into the equation. Okay, so this came in. Thank you so much to Oliver for sending that along. It's a huge help contributing to the testing and having the products to do so. So that came in, and then we also had two little Saudis come in. Just making sure I didn't drop anything here. We had two Saudis come in from Josh over at Knife Guy Mods. We're not really doing the Sodbuster recovers anymore because the parts from the case knives are just way too wonky, and we were not really being super productive with our money, having to throw away parts over and over and stuff. So now we're going to do Swiss Army knives instead. The parts are just much more uniform. But these are some of the last Saudis that he has done. He's going to fulfill all the orders that he has, obviously, but we're not taking any new orders, I should say, on the Sodbuster recovers. We're going into Swiss Army knives like the single blade ones and the Bantam with the bottle cap opener. We're toying around with that. But this is one of them that he sent in. This was one that he did and we could not give to the customer for a couple reasons. Firstly, the customer wanted OD green scales, or covers, I should say. And although this micarta is OD green, it's a little bland. It's almost like gray or brown looking. So he ended up redoing it with a more true OD green. But one of the largest problems with this knife is that the blade is warped. It is not straight, and it curves so much that it's hitting the liner severely. So this, unfortunately, we could not give to the customer. However, aside from those two issues, there's nothing wrong with it. So I ended up taking it, and that is the knife that I ran my Shapton glass stones on the other day, which I apologize that the comments got turned off again. I genuinely don't know what's happening, but all of my videos either get deleted and I have to appeal them, or the comments get turned off, and I've turned the comments back on 47 times and they just immediately get turned off. So I apologize for that, but this is the knife that we freehand polished on that video, and it's really gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful reflection. So that's really cool. That's one that I'll be running at some point, obviously. And then we have something really neat, which is this recover, and this is 1930s World War II micarta. Isn't that just stunning? That pattern, it looks like wood grain. This is an absolute beaut. No liners, no washers, no nothing, just running on the straight micarta. Perfectly centered. So this was a really nice one. Sorry, my hands are dirty. I've been outside. Absolutely gorgeous piece from Josh. I really like this. This has nickel silver pins, and I just think that's a gorgeous knife that he ended up doing. Look at that. So that's one that I can run at some point as well. Half stop, really nice. But I just think that's some of the most beautiful micarta I've ever seen in my life. No gaps or anything, just gorgeous. Okay, so let's talk about the stuff that we have been using, okay? We went over all the fun new stuff. Let's get into some updates. So we ran this Essie CR 2.5, I believe it's called. Let's double check. Yeah, Essie CR 2.5. We ran this for the second half of January because our initial testing went a little south and we had to change our direction. So this is what I ran for the second half for the most part on my belt. This is a little tiny blade from Essie. I am not, exactly sure what they intended the use to be. However, for an EDC knife, it actually worked very well. I'm figuring maybe it was made to be a backup knife on your camping trips and stuff like that. It's very small, maybe even a little skinning knife, but it's really tiny, definitely giving like bird and trout vibes as well. Maybe this is Essie's version of a bird and trout knife. I do believe that, in my opinion, it's a little thick to do those type of tasks. Like, this is just such a thick knife, but the style, the design is really, showing toward that type of work. But for EDC tasks, this was actually incredibly useful. I really like the handle. It's very comfortable. The blade length is great. If I could have it a little bit longer, I would, but it was not troublesome at all. Very tough. I was able to pry with it and do all of my tasks. Now, it is 1095. It is treated fairly soft, in my opinion. I think it's like a 57 to 59 range. That's a little soft for me, especially given that the thickness is giving the toughness. So this is kind of like a double whammy that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, because it's like you have the thickness of the blade stock for your toughness. So why do the HRC so low for toughness? Like, you already ran the blade stock overly built for toughness. So to run it at 57 to 59, also for toughness, isn't like exactly my jam, but that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. I really wish it would be more like a 60, 61 type deal. So you do have to strop these back kind of often if you're using them regularly. However, they strap back very nice. I have not sharpened it, so this is not a full review. This is just my initial impressions from like 2 weeks of everyday use. So really nice little knife. I love it. If you're a fan of Essie and you like overbuilt knives that are like sharpened pry bars, you're gonna love this. If you're not looking for like ultimate cutting performance, you're gonna love this knife. It's amazing. But yeah, just needs a lot of maintenance, that's all. And that's typical with those lower tier steels. That's completely normal. So this is a great little blade. I've also been running this Scrawny Lumberjack 4V Seeker. And this is 64 HRC. Really nice little tiny fixed blade, like tiny. I mean, my hand just engulfs this, and you guys know I'm a fairly small human being. Really nice little knife. The edge that this came with was like unbelievable, and it still has the edge from Kyle, and it's still razor sharp. Just a gorgeous example of custom work with custom heat treat and premium blade steel. Only 180 bucks. But this is definitely in my top performing steels. This is absolutely incredible. I've been running this and it just doesn't stop, man. It is so sharp. Just keeps going. I have more work from Kyle on the way, but this was a beautiful little taste of his work, and it's doing incredibly well. It's pretty dirty. I've been using it a lot, but this is also kind of part of my experiment. I'm going to be bringing in custom pieces from a number of makers into this large experiment that's going to run for months. Like, there are so many facets to it, and at the end I hope to kind of really bring together a monumental educational video for you guys. I really have something cool in the works. So we ran this for the whole month of January. This is the Knife Guy Mods case Sodbuster JR, and this is called the Ultimate Slater. Ultimate Slater, get it? It's funny. Ultim liners. And this beautiful natural micarta that is cut differently than usual. It did phenomenal. You know, there's nothing to say about it. Nothing changed. It's a gorgeous piece. Really cool liners. I don't know if I'll be able to, there you go. You can kind of see it's see-through. Oh, there we go with the sun. That's pretty cool. Very thick. We now have way thinner Ultim liners, so that is gonna help. This is a really thick knife. But incredibly comfortable, beautifully made. Nothing really to say about it other than it's, you know, awesome. So another Slater to add to the collection, the Ultimate Slater. And then we ended up doing the reverse Ultimate Slater, and that has micarta liners with Ultim covers. So this is the reverse of this. And this is the one that I am running this month. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that we did a slight modification, which we're not offering. It was just kind of like a fun thing. He did give this a little bit of a reprofile in terms of the blade shape. He just ground it down a little bit, made it a little pointier and a little less belly, just for fun. So you can kind of see a little bit of the difference. Just a hair of a difference. But like I said, just for fun to play around with things. So this is, you know, a really cool piece. The Ultim covers are really cool. I think it looks like honeycomb, and you can see the micarta through the Ultim. So that's a really nice piece. Beautifully centered. All the good stuff. So this is the reverse Ultimate Slater. And I've just kind of been playing around with, you know, additions to add to that collection. We have so many Slater models now, or we had so many Slater models, and this was just a fun one to add. So this is what I'm running for February, but yeah, that is it. That's the new stuff that has come in. We have a ton more stuff on the way, but I just want to update you guys on that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Keep my brother and nephew in your prayers, please. The nephew is doing fantastic, but my brother is really struggling to stay here with us. So if you could just continue to pray or to send your positive vibes, I would really appreciate that. With that being said, we need to use your shit. I'll use this one. This one's been nice to me. Go use your shit. Learn how to sharpen your knives. And I will see you on the next video. I love you so much, fam. Take care.